For hundreds of years, human beings have been looking for different ways to process their food. With the rise of the Let's Move campaign by Michelle Obama, pushing for healthier foods in our home and in our schools, Americans are turning to alternative foods. An average American consumes about 200 pounds of meat a year. To combat the problem, food retailers have expanded their food base and included the food halal. The food was mainly prepared and consumed by Easterners. At one time, the only food items that crossed the international waters were raw materials. There were no laws governing the production and the distribution or sale of halal foods until recently. The halal food industry is worth $1.6 billion worldwide. Halal food entered the world trade as a multinational food corporation, and it set up shops all over the world. The industry is striving to keep up with demands from a global market. The food is gaining popularity at grocery stores and restaurants. KFC, an American brand, Subway, an American brand, have all decided to go with the food and the meat halal. The USDA, Food and Safety and Inspection Service, has established guidelines of the use of halal and its processing stations. Farmers who at one time raised hogs for retail now choose to raise meat strictly for halal consumers. The word halal is an Arabic word. It is derived from a dietary law set into place hundreds of years ago.
Some group of people say, well, the animal, when it's being killed, and main arteries should be cut with a very sharp knife, and when the person doing that, he should take the name of God when they do it. So he should say, in the name of God, or in Arabic, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, in the name of God, the most greatest and merciful. So when they do that, that process makes the animal what we call not only halal, it's in Arabic called Zabiha. So you actually done the Zabiha on that animal. The process of cutting the throat is what I would refer it as the Zabiha. And the prayer is in the name of God. You take that.
I think that the praying that is involved with the mind, the way that the animal is treated, the way that they are cleaned, the way that they are sacrificed.
You're taking the life of an animal in the name of God.
I would think no matter what the belief is to any higher power, it's respecting that animal, it's recognizing that they're dying so we can eat them.
When we do that process, that we consider that is to be a blessing from God. Basically, Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, you don't do that. You're trying to kill it twice, basically. So that's a very important reason for us, and so we try our best not to do that. You have to see the process that if you keep another animal like in line, and while you're killing the other one, I have seen that animal like so scared, and it's you could see it's scared. When you cut the main artery, then the blood gushes out, so it pretty much empties the blood, and then the rest of the process is identical pretty much for any other animals that you do. So they hang the animal by the leg after it's dead, and then you skin it and gut out and things like that. So usually the skin and the fur and those things, they get tossed out.
The corporations will approve without any dietary laws, without any care about how it affects humans. We just go to a grocery store, we buy it, we don't actually have to see what happens to it. It's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind.
None of our animals that we process has any anything added to it. It's just the clean meat packed, and it's labeled when it's going to expire. Usually, even non-halal meats that are local, as far as I know, they don't usually add, but I can't speak for what's on the store displayed. They may have something added to it to make it look brighter or whatever it is, I don't know. But what I can speak for is our meat, we don't add anything to it. It's just the meat. So it is more for, I would say, spiritual reason. And another thing is, it would be because we're local, so you would know that all the animals that we get are from local animals. So that's another added value.
I mean, if the corporations could be friendlier, in a sense, to the organic farmers and the CSAs and the people that are providing things that are actually healthy and good for us, that would be very beneficial for us.
Other than if you're buying some frozen meat, you don't, well, usually you know where it came from. A lot of times goats and lambs that we can buy frozen locally, they usually come from overseas. So a locker house is a designated facility where you can take any animal to butcher it and process it and package it usually. We deliver to the customers. A lot of times we deliver home delivery, and a lot of times we have a couple of spots where they come and we make arrangement. They'll come and pick it up from there. So that's one set of customers. Then another set of customers are the restaurants. A lot of times restaurants and groceries, they would like to sell halal meat. So what we do is, we deliver to them. Or whenever I needed some meat, a lot of times I would go personally and pick up my own animals and then take it to the locker house. And I've been doing slaughtering on my own animals that I eat for myself for at least 4 or 5 years. If you are a store owner and you have your own cutting machines, a lot of times they just want the whole animal, because then they can hang it there and then their customers will walk in the door and they'll say, well, I want this leg or that, so they can cut it there. A lot of times, a lot of grocery stores, they don't have the cutting machines and they don't have the butcher on site. So what they do is they want us to cut it in a certain way and package it for them. We do only beef, goats, and lambs currently. They're fed normal things. There's not really a big distinction between what is fed, because these animals, they eat grass, seeds, or corn, so that's fine. As far as I know, is when it comes to chicken produced in commercially, like in farm, in a commercial facility, a lot of times they're fed like poultry feed, what we call. A lot of those poultry feeds that I have, as far as I know, they come from animal, byproducts, and they could come from pigs as well. Even though it's not you're eating the pork directly, you're eating a chicken which was fed with some processed food made out of probably pork. So there is this distinction you have to make. Muslims and Jewish people, they do not eat pork religiously.
Without a doubt. I think that if people can, before getting into arguments about the actual belief, if they can take away the fact that both parties believe in a higher power and they believe that these rules and these dietary laws were given to keep our bodies clean, free of cancer, free of diseases and obesity in itself.
On the topic of halal, it is really the term used in Islam to identify all things that are permissible and acceptable by God. And in this regard, halal is more than just food or meat that is prepared properly, but it is anything that is acceptable for us to engage in, to consume. That once we educate the American public and others more and more around this idea, they will come to have an appreciation for halal, and it will be as well known and synonymous as kosher is for our Jewish brothers and sisters. In closing, we're thankful for the opportunity, and we hope to see you soon.
Doc U is supported in part by an award from the National Endowment for the Arts, Artworks, the McKnight Foundation, and SPNN.